Hey, how's it going, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about having a bad day. Man, everyone has a bad day. Not just in the mechanic world, but maybe you have work a job as a, aviation mechanic, diesel mechanic. Maybe you're not a mechanic at all. Maybe you're a registered nurse. Maybe you're working at some kind of mom and pop shop. Maybe even you work in fast food, dreaming of that one day that you're flipping a little wrench to try to make a few extra bucks, put in your pocket. Whatever the case may be, everybody runs into a bad day. These days can really wreck you. It can wreck your motivation, it can wreck your spirit, it can emotionally drain you, it can physically drain you. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, and I've been through it. This is like a no bueno situation for you if you're having to undergo a bad day. Telling you, I saw this guy today at work. Not gonna name any names, man. He was having a really rough day. It really just drained. You could see it drained the life out of him. It drained his physical. It drained his emotion. It drained his spirit. I don't even think that he wanted to be there after a certain point. This kind of stuff can wreck you. It can absolutely break you down and make you just you just completely shut down. Okay, and that maybe it's a form of depression, maybe it's a form of insulin levels, maybe it's even just because you having to try to deal with the situation at hand and it's almost too much for you to fathom. There's no one to talk to about it because you don't want to complain about it, you don't want to bitch about it, you don't want to sit there and confront the actual things that's occurring, but whatever's going on through your psyche at that moment can completely drain you physically, emotionally, spiritually. It wears on you. Then all of a sudden it's in your pocket and everything else because you're not moving as fast as you used to be. It's an absolute nightmare. So how do you cope with that? I don't know. Everyone has their own little niche, their own little flavor as far as how they cope with a bad day. For me, you know what? It's hard. It is difficult. Okay, I don't have all the be-all, end-all answers when it comes to like how you're gonna deal with a situation that pops up. Maybe it's a car that you didn't expect to have as many problems as it had and you're having to deal with that. Maybe it comes down to just the way that somebody treats you or talks to you while you're at work, and that kind of ruins your day. Maybe it's something that somebody said to you earlier on in the day and it kind of wrecks you. Maybe it's something that the wife said or didn't say, or how she acted before you even left to go to work. Maybe it's something that your kids, your dogs do. Maybe it's a lack of sleep. Maybe it's just, like I said, there are so many different things that can contribute towards a bad day. Most recently, I've had a cousin and a couple of friends share their feelings on Facebook, because people have feelings, I guess. So they share their feelings on Facebook, and it just kind of made me want to talk about it a little bit. You know, I'm not heartless. I'm not a complete heartless freaking bastard, but, you know, I think differently than other people. I understand what bad days are. I try my best to try to muscle through it because that's what I've always done, and I try to look past it. You know, I don't try to like sit there and stagnate on any one particular situation. Sometimes it does get a little bit overwhelming, and mostly the things that I get annoyed with or pissed off about usually has to do with either a parts hold or a vehicle that's just giving me nothing but problems that I'm having a hard time I'm just trying to get it done, you know, and it's just not happening, and it becomes frustrating. And I don't know how to proceed north and get past that, so I stop. I take a little break. Maybe I go get some water. Maybe I urinate. I don't know. Maybe I go eat lunch earlier than I normally do. I always try to eat my lunch a little bit earlier than everybody else. Mostly I want to kind of get it out of the way, but secondly, I don't eat breakfast. So instead of doing breakfast and a lunch, or eating a snack and then doing lunch, I wake up, I have my energy drink, maybe a cup of coffee, I run to work, I do what I gotta do, and then I take lunch so early that everyone's like, what are you eating, brunch? I'm like, yeah, pretty much, you know. I'll take my lunch anywhere between 10:30 and 12:30. There was a handful of situations that I actually ate before I left for work. We had a really busy day, and then all of a sudden I got back to my lunch around 1 or 2 o'clock. They're like, wow, you're late for lunch. I'm like, no, it was just like we need to get this thing done, so I made sure I preemptively planned eating something before I even came to work, which most days I don't preemptively plan to eat before I come to work. I just usually am already running late and I just haul ass off to work. But when I do eat, I notice that I do eat a little bit later if I did get a chance to eat something in the morning. But most times I usually just eat brunch, so to speak. We're getting a little off topic. Going back to a bad day. So when I have to deal with a bad day, it's always nice to just kind of pick up and walk away from the whole entire situation. Drink water, recuperate, maybe eat lunch earlier than you normally do. Go take a cigarette break if that's your thing. For me, I haven't had a cigarette in over 4 months. I switched over to vapor pretty much entirely. Eventually, I'll wean off this, but for right now, it's like my go-to kind of thing. You know, this field that's bending over backwards, being in awkward situations, trying to learn how to become a contortionist when you're getting close to 40. Maybe some of you guys are in your 50s and 60s and you're like, man, you're still young. Yeah, but when you're in your mid to late 30s, going on to 40, maybe even cruising up towards 50, you don't stretch enough, you don't work out enough, it can really wear and tear on you overall with your physical. And that physical can wear and tear on you psychologically and emotionally, kind of breaking you down to the point where you just want the day to be over with. You no more than got to work and you're ready to leave. Like, that's kind of where you're at. So how else do you cope with this? Well, some people go to the gym, they work out. You know, some people, they drink beer in the evening like I do. Some people, they smoke a cigarette. Some people, they take a breath, they jump onto an easier job to kind of like lighten up the amount of stress they had from that stressful job. Some people, they might even take the rest of the afternoon off, especially if you're not feeling good. So now here's something else that can contribute to a bad day. What if you're just overall not feeling good? Like if you're throwing up or you have diarrhea and you're just vomiting and you're shitting yourself and it's just not a good day for you physically, that can also wreck you emotionally and spiritually, and it can drag you down. So your best bet at that point is just to be like, hey boss man, look, it's just not working out today. I'm sorry. I'll try to pick it up and do better tomorrow, but I ain't feeling so hot. There's other times you might get injured and you have to go to the ER and you have to go see a doctor and blah, blah, and then you're spending a couple hours in the waiting room waiting to be seen and you're hurting, everything's cut up. I don't know. Look, there's a lot of things that can contribute, and it changes your perspective on everything. And I've always talked about it and I've made mention of it. If there was anything else that I was capable of doing in this lifestyle, I don't know that I would have chosen automotive mechanics to be that one thing that it is that I do. But I'm too old at this point to go back in time to be smarter, to do something better with my life. This is what I do. This is what I know. This is what I feel like I'm good at. And I have a family to support, so it's a little bit too late for sorry to go back in time to figure it all out. You gotta cruise and you gotta run what you brung, man. Whatever you're running, that's what you're at. I mean, fuck, that's just the way that it goes. That's life, man. You're gonna have days that suck, that you just absolutely want to quit. It's how you get yourself through that. Get to the end of the day and have a fresh start the next day that's gonna make you learn how to persevere through your own problems, because everyone has problems, man. Some people are worried about how they're going to make that mortgage payment or that car payment. Other people are worrying about how they're going to make it to the next day at work. Other people are going to wonder what kind of job they're going to get through. I've run through the ringer, man. I've gone through all these different scenarios in my life. And I can tell you, it never gets easier. Just things have a way of changing and making it to where you have to figure out a new game plan. You really do. Like, you have to find out what it is that turns your brain on and off on a certain subject to make you push through it. I've had unexpected deaths in the family, and I've learned how to figure out ways of being able to get through that. I've learned how to deal with being sick for the most part and not having to miss work and still showing up to the job. I've had my late days, I've had my sick days. I've had to take, time off to take care of military stuff and be doing military training and things like that. I mean, there's been times that kids have been in trouble at school and I can't just rip away and tear away, so the wife has to do it. Like, there's so much stuff that occurs later in life as you progress in life and you have a family and you have responsibilities and you have bills and you can't run from it all. You got to figure out how to suck it the fuck up and move forward. You have to learn how to embrace this suck and keep moving forward. I'm not trying to sound like Sylvester Stallone in some kind of Rocky movie, but it's true. Okay, it's not how hard you get hit, it's how hard you get hit and you keep getting up and moving forward. Like, that's a true, that whole thing that he said during that movie, that was my expression for life. I never learned how to quit. There were certain times that I did quit and I regretted it every step of the way. And once I learned the difference between not quitting and quitting, not quitting became the better option. And so I've always just tried to figure out a way to keep pushing forward. And it's a tough pill to swallow, it absolutely is. But look, that's my 2 cents, that's my take on it. If you're having a bad day, release it. Just release it, because you're going to feel so much better. I know it's hard to talk about this kind of stuff with people sometimes. Maybe you don't want to talk to your wife about it. Maybe you don't want to talk to your best friend about it. Maybe you don't even want to blast about it on social media. But at some point in time, you're going to explode if you don't share it with somebody. So feel free to go down in the comments, share it with me, and hopefully, you know, when I have gaps and moments during the day and the week, I can get back to you and kind of spitball back and forth with you on, you know, like how to, I don't know, cope with it. Because that's the biggest thing that we all have to realize and do, is cope with various situations that we come across. That's all I got for this video. Thanks as always for watching. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. And I hope your day is going better than bad. Cheers. And deuces.